Happy Thursday, happy November. We all survived Halloween. Awesome. This year I feel especially whipped by Halloween and I'm not exactly sure why. But it's, I'm 2 days out and I'm feeling pretty good. So today I kind of wanted to talk to you about being a PTO president and kind of what that entails and what do you do with like all the issues that come up when you're president. And I'm not talking about maybe specific ones or group specific things that happen, but just the general things that come up quite often for pretty much most presidents, I should say. Not almost, but quite a few. And this live was prompted by an email I got. And I guess I should back up and say I'm Christina Heideck. I'm the host here of the PTO Superstar Leaders group. Super excited you're here. Our group has become such a wonderful community where people can get support and advice and new ideas, and it's all quite lovely because this job of PTOing is harder than it should be a lot of times, right? So, okay, so this question comes from a person who wishes to be anonymous, which is cool, so we'll call her Abby. She says, what do you do if board members and officers aren't getting along and there are power struggles and personality conflicts? And she goes on to say, one board member feels in charge and is being rude, and Abby happens to be president of her PTO. Okay, so what do you do? Well, first I want to step back and just kind of review what I feel the role of all PTO presidents are, and it's I don't know if it's different than what other people think, but I'm just it's what I think, and I have a very strong opinion about it, so I'm just going to go ahead and share it with you. Your role as a PTO president or PTA president is not to be the decider in chief, but it's to be the facilitator in chief and the delegator in chief. And so it's your job to kind of make sure everybody else is doing their job, but it's not necessarily to make all the decisions. And that's not what Abby is describing here at all. She's talking about other people who are maybe stepping on her toes or kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe they want to be in charge. So think of your role as just being the facilitator and making sure that everything's happening. So then when it comes to board members that are not getting along and have personality conflicts, that's totally going to happen. That happened to me personally about 4 years ago now, 3-4 years ago, that we had a brand new president, and she was new to PTA. Like, she had come to 2 meetings before she decided she was going to be, wanted to be president because nobody else would do it. It was after I'd done it for 2 years and I was done and I was moving on, and my husband's like, you are not going to be president again. Actually, he didn't say that, but I kind of understood. It's kind of unspoken. And so... Oh, Jen's popping in to say, I like to say I have the least influence as a president on actual decisions. Right on, lady. That is because you know exactly what you're doing. So high five to you. Because that is, yes, you are not supposed to be influential on, well, you are, but you aren't. You're supposed to really be like the point person. So like the central person, so anybody who has something, a question or whatever, you're supposed to know what is going on so you can point them to the right person. Not so that you can make the decisions about things. And in fact, and I'll loop back around to the power struggles in 1 second, but one of my friends who was PTA president after me, she had like a pat line for this. When people would come up to her and expect a decision, she'd say, let me take this back to the board and see what they have to say. Or let me go discuss this with the other members of the executive board on PTA, and we'll talk to you, and we'll get back to you. So that way you're just putting a little bit of space, and really that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to give them an answer. I mean, if the question is like, what time is the PTA event on Friday, obviously you're not going to be like, oh, let me get back to you on that. You can go ahead and tell them. But someone says, hey, I have a great idea for an assembly. Is there any way that PTA could give us like $500 to make this thing happen? That's your cue to say, great idea. Even if you hate it, go, great idea. Let me take it back and see what the others say. And that also gives you a little bit of cover too, to make so that when unpopular decisions have to be made, it's a collective thing. It's not any one person. If it's any one person, then that's defeating the purpose of the group, because you're not going to have help long term. Okay, so getting back to my story about the personality conflicts. Brand new president, she didn't really know what she was doing, nor was she open to learning about how to do things or about how the group had done things in the past. And I'm not at all about expecting that a new president is supposed to come in to and just do everything, just, step and repeat, do exactly what had been done before. But there's not even if your PTA is a hot, stinking mess, not everything needs to be changed. Not everything needs to be thrown out. You do not need to start completely over. And this particular woman felt the need to do that, and it rubbed me the wrong way, because she did not know what she was doing, and she just made these uninformed decisions that had long-term consequences. So in her particular instance, she was out within a year because she did not try to build relationships with people. She was outwardly hostile to me, and I'm going to toot my own horn. Building principals and teachers, they love me because I make things happen for them, and generally I don't stir the pot, and I'm not looking for drama. I'm not looking for fame and glory. I do this to make my kids happy. That's like 99% of what drives this. Yes, I'm a Leo, and yes, don't we all love getting attention for the good things we do, but is that why I do it? No, I do it to make my kids happy and to get things for my kids, because I find that I don't know, I have a better relationship with teachers, and when I ask for something, it magically happens. And if it's because I am helping with PTA stuff, well, then there should be some sort of payback, because I am doing something positive for the school. But anyways, this chick was in and out, this president who did not know anything, did not try to learn anything. She was out in a year, and then we were left. Oh, Gretchen, my friend Gretchen just popped on. I bet you know who I'm talking about, Gretchen. If you missed out what I was talking about, you can go back and rewatch, because I'm not saying names. But anyways, she was gone within a year, and then we were left to pick up the pieces. And she had thrown out a lot of information, and we lost some things from the PTA closet and whatever. I'm over it. Not really. So anyway, back to power struggles and personality conflicts. They're definitely going to exist, because everybody comes to PTA for different reasons, or PTO for different reasons. Some of them are good and some of them are not good. But I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to most people. Most people are there for the right reason, which is to make the school a better place and make kids happy. But every once in a while, people who would be really more suited for a business world are stuck at home with their kids and try to have these little power struggles in the school, and that's when it causes conflict. So my advice, if there are power struggles or personality conflicts and you're the president among your and then you want to just kind of work stuff out with your board members, and I wouldn't ever call anybody out on the spot or publicly, because that is the wrong way to go. I would kind of work in the back channels and kind of see what's going on, talk to the board members individually and be like, hey, and I wouldn't even skirt around it. If someone has told you something in confidence and you're not supposed to know about the dispute, that's one thing. But if you go to a meeting and you can feel the tension and you can read the body language and people are really upset and they're not talking with each other and it's just generally not a good thing, then that is the perfect opportunity for you to follow up with the people that are having the issue the next day. Give them a night to think about it, or even that night you could send them a text and be like, that was weird, do you want to talk about it, and maybe get your foot in the door that way. But be careful not to take sides and just be like, look, I want to get everybody on the same page, and how can I help? Ask them how you can help. It could be that someone's trying to take over their job, or they feel like someone's trying to step on their toes, and that roles need to be redefined and people need to be, stay in course with whatever they're doing. But there's lots of different reasons, and I don't have time to get into the psychology, nor do you want me to try and analyze it. But, okay, Rachel's popping in with a question about teacher appreciation. I'll try and get to that later, or maybe in another time. So that's generally what you can do, is just try and work those things out through the back channels, like kind of on the down low is what I would really suggest, so that, I mean, you never, ever, ever want to call somebody out. That's like the worst thing to do. But try and see what's going on and see how you can help. Again, your job is to facilitate things. You're not the fixer in chief. You're the facilitator in chief. So make sure you stay clear in that role. And the other thing I kind of wanted to share, and this, we go off to the side a little bit, but I'll come back around, I promise. I've been binge watching The West Wing lately because I worked through pretty much everything else on Netflix, and I never watched the original series. So, okay, anyway, so the president was talking, I think the episode was the one where he had to, like, maybe he could have pardoned somebody who was scheduled to be executed. And he brought in his priest and was talking with the priest, and the priest said, you know, I don't know how to address you. Do you want me to call you Josiah or Mr. President? And the character said, well, call me Mr. President, because when I'm in this office and I'm in this role, I have to do things that the president does, but maybe Josiah wouldn't do. And as corny as it is, I think that could hold true for you as a president too, where, like, maybe it's not something that I would do as Christina, because maybe it's not best for Christina, but is it best for the PTA to make a certain decision? Well, yeah, well, then that's the decision you should make. So make sure to keep that hat on, that president hat, that's your goal. It's not to advance your personal interests or your children's personal interests or your BFF's personal interests, but it's of the group as a whole. So keep that in mind. Okay, and so now to the part about one board member feels in charge and is being rude. My advice to Abby on this issue would be that you are never in control of what other people are doing, saying, or feeling, but you can be in control of what you're doing. So I would take a look at, if the person was being rude to me, I would take a look at my behavior, and I would ask, remember earlier how I said that your job is to go back to the executive board with questions? I would do an internal check and be like, wait, am I doing that? Or am I just making decisions on my own? Am I consulting just my BFFs, or am I consulting everybody? If the answer is not that you're consulting everybody, and by everybody I don't mean the entire PTA, I mean the executive board and maybe your principal when it's appropriate. But if that's not happening, make that happen. Maybe that's why they're feeling like they're rude and encroaching a little bit. That can be hard because you have to be really critical and self-aware, but it's good. You want to totally be self-aware when you're president, because that's really, if you're not paying attention to what you're doing yourself, then other people are going to call you out and it's not going to be good. So just check yourself. The other thing I wanted to share was that maybe this person needs more to do. So if they're, like, I would give them maybe a special little project to handle, or delegate something to them. Because again, you're delegator in chief, right? You should not be doing everything yourself. Maybe they need to do that. And then lastly, and this is, if nothing else works, if you think this person is so unapproachable, because remember Crazy Lady I talked about before? I actually tried to call her. Oh, I didn't try to call her. I totally called her. I texted her. I sent her Facebook messages and said, hey, can we talk? And she would never respond to me. And so I just kind of wrote it off, because I'm like, well, she's got to meet me halfway. Because my plan was just to apologize, even though I didn't think I was wrong, even though I knew it was all her. But I thought, the best interest of the group here is if I take a hit personally with her and do the right thing, because karmically that'll be the right thing, right? Well, she never even gave me the chance, so she's sitting with bad juju even to this day, but I feel totally like I did what I needed to do. So what did I do with her? Because she wouldn't even cooperate to, like, work it out. I just ignored her for the rest of the year. She was in charge. She was president. I think at that time I was in charge of family events. I totally just did my own little thing and stayed in my own lane and ignored her. And then when she didn't come back in the fall, said hallelujah and went on my merry way. So if you are dealing with somebody who's like super difficult, know that it's going to change. That is probably going to change. They will either get tired of, if you don't give them the drama and everything that they're looking for, they'll get tired and they'll move on, or new people will come in and the mix will change. It could happen month to month, depending on what your turnover is month to month, or most certainly year, when they get, when everything changes. Because if they're truly being horrible, then chances are they probably won't volunteer again to be in an officer capacity. So, Abby, I hope that's helpful. I think this topic is kind of what makes the PTA crap like total crap, and that I don't have time for, because I am in my 40s and I'm an adult and I don't have time for this, and all I want to freaking do is put on a cute talent show and see the kids, do their cuteness. That's right. That's the point, is just to make everybody happy. And so when someone is rude like this, I tend to feel bad for them, because they're probably missing out on something in their life, or have some sadness, because I figure that's what I'd be, a miserable person like that, I guess, if I had a similar situation. But I know that's kind of rude to say, but whatever. And Jen agrees. Okay, awesome. So I hope that is helpful. We're in early November, so I bet there's been lots of this yuckiness happening so far in some groups. I will say that my PTAs this year are so drama-free, it's not even funny, at least among the members. So it's been a refreshing change. But yeah, so, okay, I want to transition a little bit and to go back to the delegation part. If you're finding that you are having trouble delegating because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing as president, one, it's okay, all right. And two, I actually have something to help with that. It's called the Perfect PTA PTO Planner and Organizing Kit. And right now, you can get it in my Etsy shop. And if you spend $35 or more in the store today, I think today is the last day, using the code OCT treat, and I'll drop the link to it, then you can get that bad boy for 15% off. So I just wanted to do a shout out to that. That planner is actually not like a typical planner where it just has calendar dates and everything like that. It's got a lot of forms that you need, not only for you personally, but to give to the different committee heads. So there's like a fundraising and a fundraising planning form, and then a summary form, an event planning form, and a summary form. And the planning part is so you can see what is going on for your event, and then the summary form is kind of to do feedback, because that's where the genius is. If you are not collecting data on how events went and not figuring out what went really well so that you can repeat that the next year, and what went really wrong so that you can totally avoid doing that same thing the next year, then you're going to be missing out on the same part, and you're just going to be repeating the wheel, and you're leaving everything to memory. And I know when I had children, as soon as I had children, my elephant memory went bye-byes, and I don't remember anything, much to the delight of my husband, right? So definitely get that if you're having trouble figuring out what you should be delegating or how you should be doing it in the most effective way, because that planner, that kit, will really guide you in that process. And I also wanted to give you guys just a little, for those of you who have hung out for the whole time, a little heads up that I am totally revamping the whole planner in 2019 or 2018 rather. So it's going to be geared to more of a president's planner and be less general. But if you wanted the president, or if you wanted the PTO planner today, I will give you a discount. I'll be sending out a code to get the new one in January, because it's going to be expanded and have a lot of different things. There's a lot of new features in there that people have been asking for, and so much goodness is coming your way to help make this whole job of being a PTA leader, PTO leader, so much easier, because that's what it's all about. Saving you time and making it easier for you to volunteer so that you can do other things and you're not spending 60 hours in a week. So, okay, if you have any other questions about this topic, pop them down into the comments. And if you have an idea for what you want me to talk about next week, pop that in the comments too, and we'll get to it. And so I have to go now. So Rachel's question about Teacher Appreciation Week, maybe that is what I can touch on next week. And if that sounds like a good idea to you, give me a thumbs up and in the comments. And we'll go from there. So have a good week, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.